morning and happy Mother's Day. I am Chrissy, finally a farm girl if you are new, and this is my cross stitch channel. I have been doing FlossTube now for well over a year, and for most of you who have been with me on this huge journey of mine, my cross stitching journey, I really enjoy this platform. And so many of you have become very, very special to me, and so many of you are mothers. And so today, that's what I'm here to celebrate. I am here to celebrate Mother's Day with you. And I know that I could have stopped it, but I'm not going to. I know that not all Mother's Days are easy. So I'm hoping that this FlossTube, if perchance you are having one of those Mother's Day, will lighten your load and will put a smile on your face. I have some really fun show and tell that I worked with my dad and pulled just a few of my favorite things that my mom has made over the years. So let's get back on track, but that'll kind of let you know where this FlossTube's going. It's a really fun show and tell, and I hope you will stay here for the whole episode. Anyways, oh my gosh, it's May, it's Mother's Day. The year is almost half over. StitchCon is right around the corner. I absolutely, I'm so excited. We have had a busy year, my family and I, much busier than anything we've ever had before. We have basically become almost empty nesters at this point, with the exception of my son Philip. Again, if you're new, I have a son. He's 23, going to be 23 in June, who has special needs. So anyways, but to us, our youngest two daughters have officially, one is working on moving out. So life has changed. And this year I went to Needlework Market. So I have done some traveling, and I have more to come. And so does my family. So anyways, what a year. And I'm excited to say that this Mother's Day is just going to be a very relaxed Mother's Day. I did some stuff yesterday with Philip and Randy, and I normally share my week with you, but because I kind of have a full FlossTube, I'll probably just go through just the highlights real quick, and that is I was able to meet the fancy full flamingo Alicia. She's another Florida stitcher, and she was coming up to Brick City on Wednesday, and how could I refuse coming up and finally getting to meet her in person. She's super sweet. I love her sense of humor, and it was really great to get to give her a hug in person. So Alicia, that was awesome. I also dropped off a couple of things at my finisher, Terry, from the Old Needle Shop. You can always check her out at Etsy. So I gave her my first patriotic finish for my patriotic tree in the living room. So I'm excited to get that back. She's going to make that into an ornament for me. Okay. I also went with Philip antiquing one day, and that felt more like my Mother's Day with him, I'll have to admit. If you are on Instagram, you will see that we enjoyed lunch outside on a patio in a restaurant in downtown Mount Dora. And then we walked right next door to the antique mall in downtown Mount Dora, and we just strolled and did the things that we both love to do. So that was a really relaxing day. Okay, what else did I do? I for the last couple of weeks, because I did not record last week, have been able to accomplish so much. And I have a finish, and I have whips, and I did a craft thing that painting that I just love. So let's get on with it. All right, what did I finish? I finished my Prairie Schooler Misfortune. So this is the pattern, and this is my finish. This is stitched on 32 count copper penny. I shared that with you. You've watched the progress. I will say it felt more like 36. I mentioned that before. Get in a little closer. But she is definitely a fun, to me, a more primitive Halloween stitch. And I stitched this with my Prairie Schooler team, and that would be Stitchy Linda and Team Egner and Sweet Chaos Stitcher. So on Saturday nights, or throughout the week, but definitely on Saturday nights, we all work on typically a Christmas Prairie Schooler, but we are also trying to stitch other Prairie Schoolers throughout the year. And this one, I believe me and Tina and Jennifer are stitching this. Tina has finished and I'm finished. Tina's is fully finished. This one I finished, and Jennifer Sweet Chaos, I think she is, don't do it, Chris. I think she's very close to a finish. So really cute. And I asked my followers on Instagram, how should I finish it? My dad piped up, and of course he's all about the framing, especially because for him the pillows, and he's completely right, when you put it into a pillow form, you know, he doesn't like that you can't sometimes see the whole design, so like with the curve of the pillow, but you know, of course we all like our different finishes and things like that. So he shouted off frame. We shall see. It's a little bigger than a, maybe, I mean, you could do a pillow finish, but it's definitely not an ornament finish. Okay, so what did I work on? My whips I started Erin Elizabeth's Farmhouse Sampler, and I made a boo-boo. I got started, and luckily it's not too big of a deal, but I definitely need to do some frogging. So I stopped, and at this point now I just need to, I continued working that night because I had went last Thursday to Chris Leedy's house and picked up a model, which is getting framed, and I worked on this while I was there. And I probably, whoopsie, should not have done that. But anyways, I'm doing good on my progress, and everything is fine, except I forgot one other tan. There's 3 tans and some white, and I forgot one, so the window has to come out. But I'm enjoying her pattern. I'm enjoying the colors. They're really nice. Greens and a light blue in the window. I don't know if you can see that or if it's getting washed out. There you go. But it's really cool with the blacks and the browns and the greens and the blue. And I am stitching this with Sweet Chaos Stitcher Jennifer, and I don't think she has to frog any out. But what I did that night was I just stopped working on the house and went upwards. So I was able to get a couple of motifs in, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the stitch. My hope is to get it frogged, get it restarted, because I'd like to take this to StitchCon for a fill-in. So that's that, and that is in, I am keeping that in a very special bag that I got from Barbara, Stitching with Grammy at Market. So I thought it was cute with the chickens, and she makes a phenomenal bag. So anyways, that's that width, and I love it. I'm going to stitch it, put it right here. And then the other one that I'm working on is my Saturday night Prairie Schooler stitch. Sometimes I work on it a little bit more. I think I took it to my dad's this week because these are just great traveling pieces. But this is my nativity, and I was able to bring Joseph into the scene, and the I'm working on baby Jesus, but I actually do not have the green that it called for, so I need to get that. And it also comes into the flowers and things here, so I need to pick up that green so I can keep working on it. But Joseph has definitely entered the staple, and I just love this. Now this is from the book Christmas Traditions. Somebody messaged and asked if it was still available. and not out of print. It is available, and it's got some great patterns in it. I definitely intend to do the top one as well. There you go. So I am almost able to feel like I'm more than halfway done. I'm heading towards another lamb and the donkey, and then I can round myself, you know, and frame it in. And I need two colors. I need the lighter green and a gold. I was thinking that the gold, if I get it in there, the gold in the manger and the gold or the yellow in the star were the same, and they are not. So I need to work on getting that color. But, and then I love him up here. So that is, I'll show you one more time, that is my progress on my nativity, and I'm excited. I love it. And it's all DMC, super fun to work on. I know that down the road, one of the ones that we're getting ready to do is the 2009 limited edition Must Be Santa. So I've got that in my bag. But anyways, you can't go wrong with Prairie Schooler. And it's just so nice for me to have something that's light and easy to pick up on the go or at my dad's or when I'm with Philip during the day. It's just a pleasure to stitch on, and not too many color changes, so it makes it nice. Now, the one that I am enjoying so much working on, and I could have gotten more work on it, but I've been doing another painting job. I've been working in our guest bedroom, so I've finished the bathroom, and I think I might have mentioned that a couple weeks ago, but I am working on the actual, it's our second master. I'm working on painting that. So I've been kind of busy doing that. But the piece I love, and I'm so glad I finally jumped on the start, is I went to church by the sampler company. The designer's Brenda Keys, and I love this. Get a little closer. It has a very fall vibe, so that's kind of nice to have those colors and muted, and I think it's a win-win when you love the linen too. So this is stitched on sampler gold, and this is my progress. And you can tell how much I like it because I have not worked on this too much, but I spent the other night, probably, I think it was Friday night, maybe Friday night or Thursday night, and I started framing the church in. But the little, let me see if I can get the people to show up better. There you go. I love it. So I've got a couple of trees where I've done some of the framework too. I did a little more of the border going up the side, which is super nice and simple border to work on. I got the dog in up there and the other gentleman next to the church. I love the fact that he's so much taller than the door. This is why I love primitives or folk art. Not everything is going to take the same shape. It's just fun. So anyways, I've got 3 sheep in so far. So my goal was, again, I used a different linen. The designer used a very light linen, and she did not stitch the church. She just framed it in and let the linen do the work. I've chose sampler gold, which means I'm going to have to fill in the church. So I am going to continue working on the roof, and then there's some fall colors, some of that, it's like a pumpkin color coming down off of the peak of the roof, and I'm going to get that in there. I'm going to do the windows and get to the point where, again, maybe this will be my fill-in. I don't care which one it is. This is great fabric to work on. I could definitely work on it at StitchCon if I was just filling in. And they are all DMC threads, and they're just super pretty colors. So what am I thinking here as far as, hold on one second here. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I can't wait to start the next one. I have 5 of them, I believe, kitted with linen. She has many more than that, but I started collecting these a while back, and it's just, when you fall in love with something, it's just like the Prairie Schoolers. It's like I can't wait to stitch the next one. Okay, so that's all my whips and my stitching and my FFO. Now, I know that I've got a couple of projects that I kind of want to think about starting, and I don't know exactly when I'm going to start, but I have had a couple of Blackbird Christmas patterns in my stash for a while, and I am determined this year to get one stitched. So what I did was I picked out one that I think is sweet. It's not too big and not too overwhelming, and that is, Christmas Rose. So this will be a start at some point soon, and I actually am going to stitch it on the Wren, but a 16 count Ada. So I'll pull it out, but other than that, I need the threads and things like that. So I'm going to work on getting that kitted up. This one might be hard to, there you go. But, so I'm excited. I'm excited to have a small Christmas sampler, and I have yet to do one by Blackbird. So I'm excited about that. I have a Stitchy friend joining me on that one. Okay, so I have to share a really cute gift, and it's kind of going to give away a little bit, but I'm okay with that. One of my designs that I have coming out is called Farmer Matilda. And Chris Leedy, a good friend of mine, Crisscross Stitcher on Instagram, she did the model stitching of Farmer Matilda. When I went to pick up the model, she had a gift for me. And it was the first time she'd ever made a stand-up. And I could wait, but I don't want to. One, I'm impatient, and 2, I just want to share, you know, when people do something special, I want to share that right now. So this is, Chris Leedy took Farmer Matilda and turned her into a stand-up. She pulled her out of the pattern, which is fantastic because I love it when you can make it your own. Maybe you don't want to stitch the whole thing. And she made me a little stand-up Farmer Matilda. And she is just so cute. So she's got my little pumpkin pig. Let me see if I can get it in without it distorting. There we go. But there's a little chick peeking out of her overall pocket, and she's got a little bandana around her neck. She's got her little sun hat for working out, her pitchfork, and if I pull it back here, she's got it. It was the first time she made her own cording. I believe she used Helen D's tutorial for making the cording. But this was her very first stand-up, and how cute is he? Or is she, Matilda? But anyways, thank you so much, Chris. I guess my dog just thinks she can do whatever she wants. If you don't remember her name, this is Ginger. It's Ginger, my dog. Oh, okay. Ginger the dog, Kiwi the cat. But anyway, so thank you so much, Chris. This is just super sweet, and I cannot wait to put her next to the actual model that is getting framed right now. So she's going to just crush the pillow because the couch isn't good enough. Ginger. Really? Yeah, just sit down. She's supposed to be on this couch, not that one. Oh, we're just going to let go for right now. Hopefully she'll get herself comfortable in a minute. That's not your couch, Ginger. Okay, now, I watched a FlossTube. I watched a new FlossTube. I watched Silver Creek Samplers. It was awesome. It was her very first FlossTube, and I'm so glad she did it. So check out Silver Creek Samplers' very first FlossTube episode. It's been out probably a little bit. I might have been late to the game, but it was really good. I loved her Hoosier cabinet. She uses that, I think, as her desk space, but that was a really good one. I watched a few more Stitching Fays. She is just an incredible stitcher. I watched her Mirabilia whip parade and finish parade, and somewhere in one of the floss tubes I watched, I saw a cute, it's not perfectly cleaned up yet, but I saw a box that had the clear top, and I wanted to imitate. So you can see I still need to clean up some of the markings, but I painted it red. I bought this at Joann's. It's got glass all the way around, and I can put my strawberries or something like that in there, or Christmas strawberry. It opens up, and so I'm not quite finished with all my little details, but it was fun to go ahead and do something creative. I did paint it in my typical barn red, and then I brushed over top of it with an antiquing product. So it's got that little bit of antiquing going on, a little black over the red, and I love that look, and I can't wait to get it all cleaned up. The harder part about this was I did get a couple of scratches in it because it's plexiglass and not glass, and when I was trying to use a razor blade to get off, I mean, I taped this, but you still can't win sometimes. So it's pretty good, but don't use a razor blade because I definitely did get some scratches in the plexiglass. So those were my crafty things this week. It was nice to sit. Philip was playing at a table. I had my tape one time, and then the next time I painted it up. And I'm excited to fill it up with some goodies. And I kind of like it inside. You know, being a grandma, a lot of times the little ones, they want to hold those things. So this way they can get a good peek inside the box without picking up the strawberry or the pins, things like that. And I can have it a little more on display. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, so sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. All right. Let's get to the show and tell. Let's get to the fun that I prepared for you. Is all sitting behind me. Wow, I wasn't prepared for those sneezes, but anyways, I see she got comfortable. All right. I'm doing this. I did because, you know, I could go and I could take flowers to my mom's grave, and I can do all those things, and I have done all those things. But I think that it's really special for me to honor her work. Okay, my legacy are my kids, and of course more than my kids, but the biggest part of my legacy that I will leave are my children. And you know, when I have my motherhood comes in all different phases. Because I went through some infertility years ago, my very first daughter and oldest daughter, I am an adoptive parent. I adopted her when she was 2 days old. And so I am a mother through adoption. I am also, you know, a natural mother because later on that infertility had a resolution to it. And then came Philip and Olivia. I am also a stepmother or a mother through another marriage. And I cannot tell you the bond that all of them bring, all of them. So that being said, you know, moms take on all sorts of roles. And looking back, typically on Mother's Day now, more than anything, I would love to sit and craft with my mom. I would love to be able to say all the things that I've thought over the last 2.5 years. She passed 2.5 years ago, and I will tell you that, does time allow you to not cry as much? Yes. But it also gives you an immense awareness of what that person meant to you and what you hope in turn you mean to others. My mom was a larger than life crafter, a larger than life person, a larger than life personality. And so when that is no longer with you, it left a huge void. Now, it's what you do with the void that will help you survive. I'm going to celebrate her, just a few of her needleworks, because it fills me up to see them and to share them and to let you know how creative and intelligent she was. So this woman who was stockbroker by day, financial planner, stood up and did seminars and could talk in front of hundreds of people, or could sit at the bedside of one of her clients in hospice. That's my mom. That's who my mom was. So, wishing her a happy Heavenly Mother's Day. I would love to share with you a few of her crafts and pieces. So this is the show and tell portion of my FlossTube. So I wanted to start off first with 2 unique pieces. My mom did every kind of craft I feel like there was, including owning a craft shop, the Janley Craft Shop, which I've shared with you before, the picture of opening day and things of that sort, that had 3 generations at the store. My mom, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. So they've done it all. But I wanted to pull for you some of the pieces that just, to me, were breathtaking, and I know the tedious work. This is what she did, like we do cross stitch, for therapy. This is what she did after very hard days at work, just like we all have. But the very first thing I'm going to show you is a couple of pieces of her peyote. She got me into beading years back, and there was a quilt shop down in Jupiter, Florida, and then she found a beading shop. And before I knew it, she was beading bracelets, and then she went from not only picking beads and making, Christmas bracelets and Halloween bracelets and learning to put charms on them, to all of a sudden getting, peyote patterns, which is basically, to me, I look at it as cross stitch in beading. And maybe if somebody else has a better way of saying it, please write it down. But this is one of her pieces, and she made this. And now I'm going to have to play with it to get the right. But it's a necklace, and the Santa, it's stuck in my shirt. There you go. I mean, seriously, all his eyes and the way he's looking at you and the way that beads did this. It's entirely made up of seed beads and just beautiful, different style and length beads. So, you put it on. She would wear this at Christmas time with a red sweater or black, and I can see it on her. So, I wanted to share, hold on, the hat flips over. Hold on 1 second. This little hat flips over right there. So I'll see if I can get a little closer for you. And it does have a little clasp on the side, but let me see. There you go. That is really cool. So that is the first one I wanted to share with you. They're just so pretty. And I noticed, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it's called an amulet bag. I believe that that's what it was called. But I have to admit, I think this is, she did this one, and my dad reminded me she did a panda bear as well, and he's really cool because he's like blacks and whites and so cute. I believe she did, I know she did a woman, I can't remember if she was Victorian or, I'm not sure, but I will share with you the next one. And there's gold, like the filigree in some of the, in his glasses, the gold. It's just, it's so cool because that sparkles and you can see that. Okay, the other one was, it's really cool. It's really cool. She belonged to the American Needlework Guild, and she made herself another amulet bag, which stood, it was her badge. Okay, first, if I can do it this way. So, American Needlework Guild, and it's very sparkly. There you go. Look at the needle going through there. But how cool is that? And the best part, my dad was sharing, if you look on here, here is her last name, Danielson. And then on this side, she has her first name, Jan. So as she's wearing it, she's got her name on there. But can you just... So many pretty sparkles, and I hope you're seeing. So the amulet bag is just open. Look at that. Super pretty. So she would wear that when she would go to her guild. I just thought that was so, the gold in it is so pretty, and the work and the detail is, I mean, Santa is just mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling, but this is gorgeous, and I love the fact that this is how much she loved her needlework, that how much the needle meant to her. So anyways, those are those two. Okay, now this was one that she had given to me, and it's a needle case, so I'm hoping you're going to get to see some of the detail. And then this top comes off, and that's what holds your needles. You just stick them in there, and then you can dump them out. But the case is beaded. So that was the one she'd given to me a while back, and I have yet to, I need to fill it with some of my favorite needles. And then I need to take it to StitchCon with me, because that would be really cool to have something of hers with me. So that was the beading, and she did so much. But, you know, for me, I would get this much into it. I had young kids at the time, but, you know, I would get about this far, and I could make earrings, and I could make, you know, make my charms and hang them on there and the necklace. But she always, you know, my mom always went the extra mile in everything. You know, being a mom is not about being perfect. Being a mom is not about getting everything right. You are not going to get everything right. I have had days where I feel like I went the extra mile, that I'd done my best and then some in being a mom. And then there's other days that I thought I could have tried harder. When you balance it all out, when you are, you know, learning and being a mom and realizing that sometimes saying no is the hardest but the best thing. Now you're starting to arrive because it is hard to tell little ones no. And now, being a grandma, thank goodness I don't have to say no, but it naturally happens. I say that and laugh, but you know, yes, even as a grandma, you have to tell them no. And it isn't the easiest thing. Motherhood is not the easiest thing. But I will say that my mom did it with grace. And she wasn't, you know, she wasn't perfect, and she didn't expect to be perfect, but dang if she didn't try to be perfect. It was just one of those things that whatever she seemed to do or touch, she gave it every bit of energy that she had. And, you know, I think that that's something that speaks volumes, because no matter what she tried in the crafts I'm showing you, you know, she wanted to learn. She wanted to do the most incredible and hard parts. And so to me, we have these beautiful treasures that we will have forever, that we get to say, my mom made this. And I love that. I love that. And before I go to the next, you know, item that I brought, you know, it's just an interesting thing to sit down and share something of somebody who's no longer, you know, with you. However, I do hope that she knows how much these things were valued. I will say one of the hardest things in knowing that my mom left too soon. I'm sure we could all say that. Even if you're 96, 100, or through whatever, maybe you think that they left too soon. My mom left too soon in my mind because it was a sudden thing, but I also wanted to do all the things she did that I saw her do for other people. And I feel like I didn't really get that chance. So when you see what I'm about to explain, you'll understand what I'm saying. I wanted to celebrate her 80th birthday party. I wanted to throw her that birthday party. I wanted to let her know how special she was to our family. And I didn't get the chance to do that. But did I get to do other things? Absolutely. But it's one of those things that's where my mom was really, she might have been as busy as a beaver, but she always made sure that those special events were marked with something handmade and incredibly time-consuming. So this next one is really cool. She made this for my great-grandparents. She also did needlepoint, and a lot of it. And oh my gosh, I have a couple of Christmas ornaments and things like that, and I love it. She had gotten out of it for a bit, but when I was a kid, she was quite heavy into needlepoint, and one of the projects she wanted to work on was a gift for her grandmother, or for her mom, I'm sorry, and it was, so my grandmother, Virginia, who went by Ginny, but she wanted to make a picture, a portrait in needlepoint of my grandmother's parents. So she took a picture and she had it, and this is technology so long ago, so to me this is kind of amazing, but they were able to take a picture and scan it in and give her in just solids, without huge detail, a needlepoint pattern. So then she selected all the needlepoint floss and brought it to life. The interesting part is the picture that she loved and wanted to give to my grandma had another person. It had my uncle in it, who was, you know, younger at the time. They were able to remove him from the picture so that it would just be the two of them. It's best held farther back so you can see the detail, because it's like a sepia picture. So this is what my mom needlepointed, and these are my great-grandparents, And this is my grandma Josephine, and my great-grandfather would call her Jose. And you know, the small tidbit is, if you remember baby Josephine, the frog, I'm sorry, great-grandma, but that is where the name Josephine came from. So, like I said, the farther you hold it back, these are my mom's initials right here, the more detail you get. If I bring it in closer here, you can see. There you go. That's a lot of work, guys. This was gifted on Mother's Day to her mom, to my grandma, in 1978. So I was about 11. So I can tell you, I watched her stitch this, and I feel like many times she said, I'm gonna go blind stitching this. Just because you were doing so many lights upon lights. There you go. But I just love it. And look at his hat. So it was her favorite picture. I do remember that, and that's why my mom used it. My great-grandma's smiling. You know, these are Depression ages in this picture. This is not an easy life, and I believe my great-grandmother had 8 kids. My grandma shares lots of stories about her mom, and so what an honor. And so when I say that I didn't have enough time, yes. Did I stitch my mom things? Yes. Did I stitch my parents things? Have I given them? Yes. But I wanted more time to do that. And when you see things like this, to me, what a mom. What a mom my mom was. So I thought that was really unique and really cool, and just a different craft, but still needle art. Okay, so that was that one. All right, this one, my mom got into quilting. I got into quilting. I was very pregnant with, I think, Philip, and about after Olivia was born, 2 kids in, quilting kind of took a back seat for me. But for a very long time, I would go monthly to a quilting fabric store. Oh my gosh. And we did lots of blocks of the month quilts. If you signed up and you paid for your first block and you returned the following month with a finished block, which I should have got mine out to show you, you got the next month free. And basically what you got was pre-cut pieces of the fabric ready to go. And as long as you went home and did your homework, you got the next block free. So I'm going to share that one with you. The one that we did, this one we did together, she finished. I did not. I do have my bears finished, but it's never been quilted. I don't think I have all of them. But let me pull out that one. And this is probably going to require me to stand up. But this one is called the Bear Family Album. And she finished this in 1999. We were living down in Jensen Beach at the time. And our quilt store, we would drive about an hour. We would meet up with a couple of ladies, go to Cracker Barrel. And once a month, I got to get out of the house, away from little ones, and go down to a quilt shop, and it was just always so fun. And there's nothing better than a cross stitch shop and a fabric shop like that. So fun. So let me stand back and open this up as best I can. I'll start maybe by trying to get a little bit closer for you, because it's a big one. Okay. All right. Make sure I got it going the right way. Alright, so this is Bear Family Album. Let me see if I can We're going to have to go way back. All right. Am I at all? Nope, we're not even all the way in. So I'm going to come forward and I'll show you some blocks up close. Like this. All right. So if I come forward, each one of these, we were given this part, and then we had to build it, and then she obviously quilted it up. So let me see if I can. Here's the, whoa, teacher. And I had a real thing for bears for a long time. Whoopsie, this way. Ballet. Both my daughters did ballet, Olivia and Cece. The Gardener. I love that one. Home Sweet Home with the kitty cat. Mama Bear. Oh, you saw that one. Got to go up now. I think it's 3 blocks across. Okay, I will say my mom never ran. But that's really cute. Am I going in the right direction? There we go. Papa Bear. Hold on a second, I'll get this right. And look, he's got his pipe. Love that. And this one's super cute with, oops, got a thread on that. Little boy. And the last row, I love this one, is Nurse. Cute. And Bear Online. Now that cracks me up because now it's way more appropriate than anything to be online. Okay, let me grab my chair. And she had her, it marked, luckily, on the back of the year and everything with her quilt tag. But, you know, when people say that handmade things are, you know, love, a gift of love, they absolutely are. I always just say in cross stitch, every stitch is a little piece of, you know, love that you're sending to that person. And I know that often they say that, you know, quilts are just being wrapped up in a big hug from that person. And I think that's true because when you have these things in your home, when I'm able to cuddle up with something like this, it's a piece of her, and they're just so special. Anyways, so this was one of her quilting projects, and I wanted to share this one, the bear one, because, you know, we did this one together. She just actually finished it, and beautifully so. So anyways, this next one, I remember her doing, and I think I had stopped quilting at that point. I'm going to have to fold this. My dad became very good. My dad was the cutter. He did, not on these, he might have helped cut for the border and all of that. Hold on one second. And I'll have to redo that. Don't look at that, Dad. But my dad and my mom were a big quilting team. He did a lot of the cutting of and put it in stacks so that my mom could just sew and have fun. So they could spend hours in her craft room where she would be stitching on her sewing machine or doing the applique, and he could do the cutting, and it was a team effort. So that being said, when I would get a quilt from them or something like that, I also knew my dad was part of it. So when Mom would give something out, and even though it was her idea and her selection and her fabric she picked, he was in the background too. So that's always a really nice thing. And now it's really cool because now he does volunteer cutting. Oh, and shoot, I'm trying to remember the name, but they donate quilts and usually patriotic, but they will auction them off, and they're for the veterans. And now I'm trying to think of the exact name of the group. Don't get upset, Dad, I can't remember it. But either way, I believe he cuts every 2 weeks or once a month. He meets up with the quilters group, and he goes and he does the pressing and the cutting for them, and he volunteers his time, and I love that. So that's so great because there's nothing better than a quilt. The next one just makes the little girl in me crazy because it's just beyond me as far as the cuteness. It's just cuteness overload. And I believe at that point she had obviously had a couple of grandkids and granddaughters specifically at that time. And so she made a Goldilocks and the Three Bears quilt. Now you have to rotate it because they're basically at the table-ish kind of a deal. But let me stand up. But this bow gets me every time. So this is her Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Let me go back a little more. I'm close this time. Close. Okay, so now you can see Papa Bear down there, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, and Goldilocks. You can see the 3 different chairs and the 3 different bowls, and they're all there. Now if I come in closer, you can see the details. So I can rotate it. So Baby Bear, oh no, that was Mama Bear, I'm sorry, Baby Bear. And it's all flannel. Flannel quilts are the best. Papa Bear, and Miss Goldilocks herself with her bows and gingham ribbons and her braids that are actual like yarn. Let me see if I can get that. There you go. Is that not the coolest? Like I said, it's all flannel. And I love the reds and the blues. Let me show you the back on this one because this is, I love this. All about the gingham. So, that is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And get a little closer. Sorry for the bag. But I just think this is super cute, super creative. She did so many. She's done some beautiful Civil War quilts. She's done an American flag that she quilted, and it hung in my dad's office for several years. Like I said, just such an incredibly talented person, and someone who would share her crafts. A lot of people will say something to me like, oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry to need your help. You do not have to be sorry. this is to be shared. Our crafts are to be shared. If I have the time, I'm going to give the time. If you want to learn, I'm going to do my best to teach you. That is something I learned from my mother. She would stop whatever she was doing if she could, and she would have a group of people over. When she owned her knit shop, she would have knit nights, and she would teach you to knit if you didn't know how to knit. She tried to teach me to knit. It didn't work. I can crochet, but again, when you are able to do something like this, one of the biggest honors you have is to be able to share and teach. And just give back. So, I love that. I loved that, as hard as it was when she passed, and it's like that maybe with anybody. When you hear the people with their condolences tell you how awesome they were, it's a blessing. It's hard, but it's a blessing. But so many people shared how she taught them something, taught them to cross stitch, taught them to quilt, taught them to knit. Just another part of that legacy. And, so don't ever feel sorry for asking me a question or help or any of those things, because it's my honor to give it back. So let me go to the very last one, and then I'll close out my FlossTube. I'm not going to worry about my plans or anything like that this week. My mom and I loved hand embroidery work. If you followed me for Instagram for any long period of time, you know that I love red work. I haven't picked up my embroidery in a while. I did some last year, but I love red work, and so did my mom. So one of the other special quilts, she made several of them. One was for my grandmother again, and it was a Mama Said quilt, and it was done it was quilting, and then it was done in all red work, and it is absolutely a phenomenal piece. So let me grab that one. So this one, she has her embroidery machine where she made the tag on the back. Mama said happy 80th. So for my grandma's 80th birthday in 2002, and my grandma lived to be 94, and it was so cool because I did have an embroidery machine for a bit. I didn't get into as much. Mine was a Disney Brother embroidery machine, and I didn't get into the other cartridges where my mom really was able to branch out with hers and get some other cartridges, and she made some really unique machine embroidery type things as well. But this quilt, I'll get it opened up first, is okay. It's really cute because a Mama Said quilt, it gives you all the old rules that your mother would tell you. So I'm going to read them to you first, and then I will show you the quilt. So it goes around with hand embroidery like this, where she's hand embroidered all the rules. So it starts off with, don't talk with your mouth full, keep your hands to yourself, ask your father, don't point, put your toys away, don't make me come in there, quit fidgeting, someday you'll thank me for this, get in here this minute, can't you see I'm busy? Clean your plate. I don't want to hear another peep out of you. Tie your shoes. Do you think money grows on trees? Say you're sorry. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So that all goes around the whole quilt in this neutral kind of tan color. And then at the very top, you'll see this hand embroidery where it says, Mama said. And then each of the blocks drop down with the red work. And I will show you that in 1 second here while I stand up. Now I'll bring it closer because you're not going to be able to hardly see, but you can see the size of it, you can see what was done at the bottom, and I'll do my best to show you the detail up close. Alright, so at the very top of the quilt, there we go, let me move this way. It's got Mama Said. And everything I read to you was above that in that little border. And then we start with all our little lessons here. We've got learn, trust, share. Play, love, hope, believe, and dream, and laugh. And then the bottom has this real pretty filigree. So if I come a little closer, now you can see some of the colors that are in there. Let's see if I can get that. There you go. But I'm probably not the best quilt displayer, but it's absolutely, you know, this is one of those, oopsie, hold on. I dropped my nativity. I love it because it's simple colors. The words are supposed to be what speak in my mind. And it's absolutely was such a special gift. Let me grab my chair back. And get a little closer. Okay. So, beautiful reds, beautiful red work. I'm not sure if it's, you know, hopefully it's not getting too washed out, but really special. This was her 80th birthday present that she gave to my grandma. And that would be my grandma Virginia, the same one she did. So love your mothers. Let them know that you're there. Spend time with them if they're still with you. If you are a mother, have a wonderful Mother's Day, whether you are with your kids or without. Mine work in restaurants, so today I'm going to just enjoy being in, working, painting in my future craft room. Like I said, things, they kind of, they can change over the years. And so an empty nest is, it's kind of right around the corner. And it's different. It's different. Do I miss them being toddlers in the house, noisy? Of course. But at the same time, I love right where I'm at. The only thing I would do different would be to have my mother here with me. And other than that, the next best thing was to pull out some of her beautiful pieces and things that she has left as her legacy. And I hope that I'm doing the same, and I hope that I make her proud, because I am very proud of her and what she was able to accomplish in her lifetime, and for all the people she made things for and all the people she did things for. More than anything, she showed me what love looks like. Have a great, great Mother's Day, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. Love ya. Don't forget to floss.